Alright, welcome back everybody to Tactics Ogre. I have to replay a thing because I wasn't recording when this happened. So we're going to replay this cutscene.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Your Grace.
Yes, be seated. The Dark Knights have agreed to an informal meeting. We must convince them that we seek a truce with the Bakram. Naturally, with the Dark Knights mediating the negotiations. It's almost too good to be true. I needn't tell you I have no intention of forging a truce. Branton must die if we are to realize our ambitions. Besides, what assurance have we that he would abide by such an agreement? Too many have died to end this with half measures.
Then we move forward with our plans to retake Rhyme.
What? We can't openly
The prospect unmans you? It would not be the first time you have faced them in battle.
They think us weary of fighting, and that shall be their undoing.
Indeed.
Their conceit blinds them. They will not expect us to fight any more than they will expect us to win.
We will seize Sir Lancelot at the parley. The Dark Knights won't dare move against us while we hold their high champion.
And what of the Bakram forces at Rhyme?
Your company will recapture the city.
How are we meant to reach her, much less take her? While one man or two might approach undetected, an entire company is likely to draw notice.
True, you cannot hope to cross Golborza without alerting them.
Right. Golborza is out, and they will have eyes along the coast. The Burnham Massif rises to the west, but you can't think we'll scale mountains to reach them?
Why not? It's the last thing they would expect.
There's no one else I can trust with this.
Dark news, Your Grace. Caritanai has fallen.
No need for alarm, all goes as planned. We witnessed the death rattle of Balbatos's men. We drew down our numbers at Caritanai to lure them to one place. The easier to snuff them out. It aids in our deception of the Dark Knights as well. They will think us desperate. Our hero should be capable of dealing with Caritanai as well, no? Now, we'd best be going. There's much to be done.
We move, Your Grace.
Indeed. Hooray.
My name is Boone Prancet.
Not really. We're getting ready to invade the castle here to put down the Bakram, or I'm sorry, not the Bakram, the Gagastani resistance.
Blood.
Our buddy Vice here is a man on the run
What?
with no home and no king.
Vice, are you alright? I can look after myself.
Meanwhile, we keep trying to save Mr. Vice, and he keeps running away from everybody and everything.
You! After him! I'll deal with these!
Yeah.
I will avenge my lord! For Balbatos!
For Balbatos! Fedora! Oh, this Fedora! We're going to kill you. This mission's not too difficult. Mainly because you're well spaced out, and there's really two different directions you can go. The obvious direction is to the right, across the bridge, provided the boss does not go to our left. You just, otherwise you'll be sort of chasing the the boss in circles, but for the most part, she does not generally do that. She sticks up in this upper corner area, and then as you move across on the upper bridge area, you evade most of the enemies, and added benefit of avoiding most of the enemies, the little moat in between where we're standing and where the dragon is over there is the biggest slowdown portion of this whole thing. Because only a couple characters have the ability to go into the water. I'll be swinging all of my guys in this general direction. However, I'm going to leave my Dragoon down here. Annie. I'm going to kind of sit here and bait the rest of the enemies that are in the bottom area over to me. And then as they make...
Warriors of Galgastan,
lay down your arms.
Lay down your arms and surrender. Your clansmen do not wish to see you continue this fight, nor do they wish to see you dead. Don't throw away your lives. Join us in rebuilding this land.
Empty words! A Galgastani does not fill so easily.
Hooray! Aren't we cool? Yeah, just realized, as part of this, I just realized that I did not put on anything that actually makes a dragoon, which would be anti-beast, anti-dragon abilities. One of the big reasons you use a dragoon is has the ability to drop proc an AoE, or not an AoE, an ability that, you know, affects multiple people standing around it, as well as to use some of its MP to power up and create a big anti-beast, anti-dragon attack combination of the ability that it randomly procs and the MP ability I was just talking about, upwards of about 1,000 damage, depending on what weapon I have, to dragon. Now, mind you, you look at the weapon my Dragoon has right now, not the smartest one to have either. It's a scimitar, which is designed to be an anti-human weapon, which is great if you're fighting a bunch of humans, but it sort of makes the weapon doesn't make sense on a Dragoon, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, if you're using the Dragoon for just normal fighting, then you just go, well, why didn't you bring a knight in, or why didn't you bring a Terror Knight in? You know? I don't know. They're all good questions. Questions I don't have answers for. Because I don't know what to say. I'm also interested to see, and this is another one of those should have looked it up before you started talking things, but when we got into, what was it, a little bit after chapter 2 started, we got the ability to craft upgraded weapons and armor unlocked. You just have to buy the recipe book, and then as you proceed through the storyline, you'll get other upgrade things as well. So you don't get access to everything right away, but slowly but surely you start getting access to like blowgun, you know, and other upgradey things that you probably won't be running into blowgun darts anytime soon. They're not available, but the point of this story is I can't remember if there's also another one that we unlocked either later or at the end of the game that gives you access to +2 weapons. Because if there's +2 weapons, that'd be pretty sweet. Not gonna lie. Also kind of wish the number they would give you was sort of an estimate, like within, say, I don't know, 10%, 5-10%. So like you could do 5% more damage, you know, do, you know, like 210, or you could do 5% less and do, you know, 95, 98, you know. Because I'd like, you know, roll the old proverbial dice to see if I could squeak out an extra damage or two and get a kill, instead of having to be like, oh, he says he's gonna do 102 damage, did 102 damage, great. It's great when you're trying to recruit people and you want to like whittle them down to as low health as possible. Terrible when you're trying to kill them and you're within like 2 hit points of actually killing them. You realize you gotta actually, well, you either have to spend, you know, like a finisher, or you have to bring a second person in behind to finish them off. Do some. I'm done here. that big of a difference between those two there. I think it has to do with defense more than anything, but who knows? Another thing that's kind of funny, I think is funny about this game, and I get it, I understand the reason you do it, it's super smart, is that the more armor a character wears, the better defense they have. But they're also slower, which means they get less turns. I mean, it sort of all play, as you could see, my knights aren't exactly lacking in the very far behind. You know, you would imagine that your faster units like mages would be up on the front line, and your, you know, knights would be hanging back because they're not moving as far as fast. Not what it is, but it is sort of funny to me, like, oh, you need your frontline tank units in the front, but they're slower, so they naturally fall behind because they're slower, and they'll get their turns after your faster units do. So, I don't know. I think it's funny. Tremendous shot. I made boo noise. So you can see how I don't know if the game would naturally do this if I hadn't left my Dragoon down there, but you can see how I pulled all of the other units away from my main party. Don't have to worry about them sneaking up, you know, behind the boss right now. Of course, I'm not really sure. Like I said, we were going to do that anyways, so it might just sort of be a moot point. Here's a quick story before we finish off this level. When I was in high school, 9th grade in fact, I don't know if this was just the teacher or this was the curriculum for the grade, but basically they introduced us to a series of words. So if you were in honors English, or you were in whatever you want to call it, remedial, there were three different Englishes. There was an honors English, there was I don't know if they could be called academic or what. There was an academic English, and then there was a general English. Now, the difference between your academic, honors, and general English, or remedial, whatever you want to call it, English was like one extra thing. So if you were in general English, you would do what they do in honors and academic, but if you were an academic, you would also, like, you know, be forced to keep a journal, you know, writing journal. And then if you were in honors, you had to keep the journal, and once a semester you would have to write a paper as well, you know. So, like, the differences weren't really all that much, but there was extra work, as you can see, as you're going up. But anyways, the point of my story is, no matter what level of English you were in, you had to learn. They taught you 100, I think it was 100 vocabulary words. I don't want to say it was 180, because it definitely wasn't 180, but basically they would teach you every day or two, they would try to teach you a new word. A lot of them would have the same definition. Like, I'll give you an example. We learned the word apex, zenith, pinnacle. Those all basically mean the same thing, you know. But they're, you know, that's an easy way to teach kids 3 different words. They all roughly mean the same thing. The apex, the top, the zenith, the top, you know, the pinnacle, top. Those are 3 more advanced words that you can add into your language, but all mean the same thing. So you're kind of expanding your vocabulary. At the same time, you're not having to remember, well, this means, top, like top of the mountain, apex. And then you have to learn a different word like I said it earlier, moot, or moot point, means point. So, and then they also had us learn all of our, we did this previously, but I don't remember if this was specific to 9th grade or not. I think we might have done this in 7th or something. But they had us learn all the preposition, or not all the preposition. Is it prepositions? I think it might be prepositions. Now that I think of it.
Forgive me, Balbatos.
Blush.
No time to rest. Karitanai will be ours again.
Alright, we're gonna cut the episode here. When we come back, we're gonna be doing the second half of this mission, which is gonna be inside the castle. So until then, I hope you have a good one.